It's Matt Santacapita from the Santa Sells Houses team, and this is another episode of our Money Market Update. And so we're halfway through May. The trend that started, call it somewhere between 4 and 6 weeks ago, where we started to see listings going up and multiple offers and sales or number of buyers starting to diminish, and is continuing. So let's jump into the numbers, and then I want to cover a couple things that comparing last month, April, to the previous year, and maybe give a prediction of what we're going to see by the end of this month. So new listings came in at 348, pending at 162, and conditionals at 22 for the past week. Now, pendings and conditionals are pretty flat. They're kind of the same. That's kind of roughly about, what we've been seeing is around the 150 units sold in London. However, new listings have changed. So new listings are up 10%. So again, we're seeing the number of new listings increasing and the number of buyers is staying flat. So that is adding to inventory. Now, what I did is I also dug into a couple other numbers. So the number of listings that we saw in April of this year was in Elstar, so in our entire board, was 1,015 versus 12 months ago. So April 21 was 662. So the number of listings last month in our board increased by 53%. It's pretty substantial. Now, when we isolate just London, which I often like to do because that represents the largest portion of our board, we had 756 listings versus 471 the previous year for April. So that's up 60%. Now, what do I think we're going to see for May? I think we're actually going to get probably to 1,300, possibly a little bit more. And I do think we are going to remain with number of buyers out there shopping for a home is going to remain flat. I think that's just the way things are going to be for the next little bit. I do think that we might see some changes in a few months. I do think that we might see a bit more of an uptick in buyer activity. I think that's going to be caused on a few things. People are going to have the vacationing and the summer, start of summer out of their, kind of out of their minds, in the sense of, everybody's been pent up for the past 2 years, so everybody wants to go and do things. But the other thing that's going to start to happen in London is a lot of the industrial development that's been going on is going to start coming closer to the ends. And that means you're going to get a lot more job creation. So I do think that's going to be a driver towards the end of the year. However, I do believe at the end of the day, we are trending to a balanced market. We are seeing some softening in housing prices. That's inevitable. I mean, interest rates are going up. So home prices don't go up when interest rates go up. That's just not what happens. But I think the other thing that maybe might come out of left field is if in Europe we see an uptick in the situation between Russia and Ukraine, I would not be shocked if you saw some Europeans starting to come here, more wealthier Europeans, the same way that the wealthy out of Asia have been buying up real estate, call it along the West Coast in North America. If it doesn't look like the conflict in Europe is going to get settled or calmed down, anybody who's sitting on big money, multi-millionaires, I can see at some point they're going to get their families out just for safety. It just kind of makes sense. And I think one of those countries they're going to come to is Canada, because we're a very accepting, and liked country in the world. So I do think we'll end up being on the radar for, some people leaving some of these conflict zones. So anyways, it's Matt Santacapita from the Santa Sells Houses team. Hit us up in the DMs if you want, or put a comment below. Let us know what you think about the current market. Again, thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Money Market Update.